My name is Devin. Do you want to learn more foreign language vocabulary? If so, I think this method called the Goldlist Method can really help you. So the method is basically this. You write down a list of 20 words. I have a notebook of 25 lines. On the left side, you put the target language, and on the right side, you put your own mother tongue or a language that you're reasonably fluent in. After having made your list of 20 words, you put the date at the top. This is very important because 2 weeks later, you're going to come back to this list and review it. Why? Is because you want to create space in between your review sessions. You do not look at this list, you do not learn it, you don't review it, you don't do anything. So step one is acquisition, or making a new head list. How do you do this? You start out by numbering a page with 20 numbers, counting upwards. Here's an example where I count from 1421 to 1440. In these lines, we're going to write down words or expressions that we want to learn in the target language. The remainder of the page and the remainder of the right page is cut into pieces so that I have a piece where there's 14 lines, 10 lines, and 4 lines on the left page. You want to find material in your target language. You can do this by watching Netflix or reading books or reading articles. Generally, I read books and articles because otherwise you have to pause the Netflix or the video constantly to write down the words that you want to have in your head list. The great thing about using real materials with making head lists is because you take the words and expressions out of a certain context. This gives meaning to the vocabulary and is much better than, say, learning pre-made vocabulary lists on Anki or Quizlet, because these words do not have meaning for you. What does this look like in practice? Well, either I lie on my bed, or I'm sitting behind my desk, or I'm lying on the couch, wherever is comfortable for you. Here I'm reading some articles and writing down any words that I think will be useful later on in a conversation. I try to keep my head list down to one topic so that I can remember in which context I found these words. I try to stay away from any words that I think would be too hard or not necessary to learn. The translations I'll do later. Right now I'm just writing down the words in the target language. Step 2, distillation, is where the magic happens. After 2 weeks, you come back to the page that you've made before and you review either the target language or your mother tongue. This depends on your goal. I cover the left side of the page because this is the target language and I want to learn how to produce the word in the target language. I don't want to understand it, I want to actually speak those words. If correct, I put a check mark behind the word that I just got correct. If not correct, I simply leave it. If you have less than 6 correct, there are 2 options of what you can do. Either you combine 2 words, for example, the word beautiful and the word cat can be combined into beautiful cat. The other option is scrapping a word entirely from your list. This can be done if it's not that important to you or if it's not relevant. So after the review, you put your first distillation on the right page. As you can see, I write down the words in random order. This is to prevent me from learning the words in a certain order every single time. I first write the words in my own language and then I try to recall the words in the target language again, even when I'm writing down my distillation. This is just to get some extra practice in. Now you can see if you still remember the words from your first recall from trying to recall the head list. Step 3 is simply to repeat step 1 and 2, which is making new head lists and distilling them. Here I show a quick example of what it might look like when you have all distillations done for one head list. Each time I do a distillation, I write down the date at the top so that the next time I'll know which distillations are due. You can do more one day and do less the other day. This is generally how it goes for me. I make a couple head lists in one day and then a few days I don't make any. Now some might ask, why not use Anki? Why use this whole method with this complex system in a notebook where you could just use a spaced repetition app like Anki or Quizlet? Well, I'm going to make an entire video on those apps as well and make a video where I compare the apps and the Goldlist method. But for now, all I can say is that for me, the ritual of sitting down with my notebook is something that is inherently satisfactory. Like, I just like to do it. The second reason is because the Goldlist method allows me to consume general materials in the foreign language and then transfer them into my system. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see any future videos. And if you have any questions, then leave them down in the comments below. And until then, I will see you in the next video. Ciao.